Hey, Super Saiyan Black here. Doing this for my brother Fury Wolf. He's not in this video apparently. I know you like the laughs, all this and that, but you know life goes on outside of Dragon Ball. I mean, just trying to kill time before the next episode, of course. We really wanted to do this in the last video, but the servers went bad. I mean, I got them fixed now, so they should be good to go. But anyway, you're first going to see this on his channel, and then you're going to see this on mine within the hour. So, let me get to what I was talking about. Gohan. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of Gohan fanboys in the comments. But if you want to analyze Gohan's aspect, you have to take it third and fourth dimensionally. Subscribe to Seth the Programmer if you get the chance. He actually did a good video on both how Gohan's not as weak as you think and Piccolo's not as weak as you think. Seth the Programmer, I think his name. Something like that. Apologies if I get it wrong. But basically, Gohan, like, the only difference... Okay, the best way to explain this is pretty much... It goes back all the way back to Dragon Ball. Goku, back then, was not only not aware of his Saiyan nature, especially when he turned grade 8. But when he gave into his Saiyan nature, grade 8 at the time, he had no control of himself. Little to no control. But with Gohan, it's slightly on a worse scale. Gohan has even just so much as his rage boost and his grade 8 form. Well, not as much as later down the line, but you'll know what I'm talking about in a minute. Gohan has feared his Saiyan nature his entire life. Him acting as human, as earthling as possible, despite everything he's done psychologically, even though the whole Great Saiyan Man thing was a bit much in my opinion, but again, that's mine. Good fodder, but idiotic if you know what I mean. That wasn't. I don't see that within Toriyama's best. Again, my opinion. Don't go with shit. But anyway, Gohan has feared his Saiyan nature just about his entire life, and sexual attraction aside, Videl was a cop-out. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say it. Videl was a cop-out for Gohan to retire from the Z-Fighters. She was just a cop-out, and that's all there is to it. Now, this happened once before in the previous saga with Cell, with Krillin finally getting Android 18. The only reason a lot of people justify that one is because Krillin needed a girl. And the closest Krillin actually got to being with someone was in a filler arc with Marin. But again, that mess is in another video. Anyway, I guess the best way for me to analyze this is with the Cell games. Gohan has been in a battle between himself as an Earthling and how he was raised prior to Radix and all that, and his Saiyan nature deep down, especially when it comes to his two potentials. Both his hidden potential to just being part Earthling, and his second potential, okay, between Saiyan and human is his genes. It's two types of potential. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, he was fighting. That's why his rage boost was so potent. Yet they were only in short bursts, and those are the best times he could truly regulate his power during rage boost. Because all his life, ever since he started fighting, he's been battling his inner psyche for control. And when Android 16 got squashed, which should have been brought back by Shenron, by the way. Again, my opinion. That was the first time he snapped. He allowed his Saiyan nature to take over. And in doing so, led him to becoming arrogant and incompetent. And despite his normal half begging his Saiyan half to go ahead and finish Cell and quit baiting him, the Saiyan half wouldn't let him. He wanted Cell as much as Gohan normally would when the time came, to suffer for all the casualties he's caused in his devastation, both in the present and future Trunks' timeline alike. He got overzealous, he got in over his head, and then when Cell was supposed to be down for the count, he decides to blow himself up. Again, classic, cocky cliche. This might as well be Yamcha vs. Cybermen all over again. But hear me out. It's psychologically the reason he can't bring himself to train and keep his fighting sense just naturally. It's not the thrill. He lost... It's the part of his mind, no matter how much he wants to get back in there to protect Videl and Pan respectively as his wife and child, a part of him still won't let him. And that's the trauma from when Goku died in the Cell games. Not the fact that he died, not the fact that he died in a faraway place, but the fact that he died because of his incompetence. Because although he may have been able to finally regulate his power, he couldn't control the Saiyan nature within. And doing so caused his father to die in his place, and let's be honest, Goten, being the Goku clone, dubbed by others, was just a 7-year reminder that for 7 years he had to live with Goku not being in Goten's life because of his mistake. Because he allowed the grandness of Super Saiyan 2 I wouldn't say go to his head. Okay, like I was saying before, he couldn't control his Saiyan half, and he's been traumatized. He's traumatized by that. And if Gohan is really going to get back in the limelight, one of two things are going to happen. One, Videl inspiration like in Rocky 3, or two, Videl dies. One, Japan is completely different from how it was in the 90s, so they're not going to risk Pan. Alright? They're just not going to do it. We all know to some, Pan is still that wonky little bitch we saw in GT. Let's be honest. Although she's been forgiven in Super by most, there are those few who are still going to bash based on their horrible writing and performance in GT. Some people are still going to bash. Simple as that. Now, to me, it would make more sense for Videl Drac to have died in a crossover in a battle. And although we got that against Frieza, okay, hear me out. I really believe they wanted to do that. Gohan come back, Omniversal Tournament, but one person, story-wise, Gohan coming back into the limelight with his Universal Tournament would pretty much be fan service and milk cow and pretty much money, yeah, in itself. But from an overall story perspective, it would have been much better to bring in Monaka, give this sense of mystery. We all know he's weak in the end. He was just a delivery boy who was requested by Lord Beerus himself to participate in the tournament and was guaranteed that there was a good chance he wouldn't get involved to begin with. Lord Beerus would have lost if it weren't for the fact that, out of respect for Goku, hit through the match. Again, you see the similarity here? If you're a true Dragon Ball fan, at least read the original series and or manga. Again, I do my homework. I'm a casual fan. Like Fury Wolf says, I'm the facts man. It is simply the Roshi Jackie Chun reference. It is a callback to when Roshi disguised himself as Jackie Chun to teach Goku and Krillin the lesson that no matter how much you progress, there's always going to be someone stronger. There's always going to be that extra hurdle. And Lord Beerus was willing to go out his way to do the same thing for Goku and Vegeta. That way they wouldn't let the grandness of Super Saiyan Blue go to their heads. Even though they easily did against Goku Black, but again, your opinion. I guess it was just a writing, but still, I mean, eventually they're just no longer going to use the God Key, and they're just going to merge it into their absolute base. That's me. Because we all know the ending. Their original attempt was to go all the way to Goku versus Oob. We go for the Omniverse Tournament, and then the Goku versus Oob, probably reanimated, maybe called back from Kai. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I truly believe it's going to go beyond that. This is pretty much GT 2.0. A lot of people believe, there was a lot of speculation that GT 2.0 was going to come after Super. But I think this is it. I think they're going to decide to just go ahead, get Toy, and just do what they've done, and pretty much bring back Super Saiyan 4 and all this and that, but only in terms of the overall lore that Super Saiyan 4 had, as well as the Shadow Dragons. Now Super 17, they may tweak it just a little bit. Baby, yeah, they really fucked up on that. They fucked up. They just fucked up. You had the perfect dynamic. The surviving Tuffle. A pretty much reverse of Goku versus Frieza. Okay, I'm getting out. Okay, let me just stop. I'm sorry. I relived GT just because I thought it wasn't going to be that bad in terms of the overall aspect. But sorry. Let's get back to the overall synopsis. Let's get back in general. Sorry. Gohan can easily get back in anytime he wants, if he was truly willing to strive. He would have to take a leave of absence. But the reason